Fruit punch and caramel. Yeah, because those are the first two flavors. They would actually. Yeah. That's right. I actually started thinking.
I mean, if that was trying to grab a charger bag, I'm gonna plug something in.
I always question myself, like, did I do it right?
How can you mess up a happy face if it's this side?
And don't be funny.
This is a 2-mod class. We're out of here in 40 minutes, right? So, what time does it take us to? Is it 1:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1:30.
1:30. Okay. My goal is to get this paragraph written, and that's it. So if you think that you were presenting to me, there is a small possibility that you will be presenting your little PowerPoint. But if that's the case today, it's you and I sitting right by my computer and you presenting it only to me. So if that sounds good and we have time, volunteer, and you'll have only me to present it to. And that is if we get through this paragraph. Okay. The rest of yous would be working on 2 Kias that are due actually this week, like tomorrow. They're actually due tomorrow. And you can take them as often as you want, and I'll take the best score. So if you got an 80%, that's good enough. Okay. But why don't you do it again and get a better score? I'll take the best score. Okay. Don't get confused. Don't let yourself get confused by overthinking it. You simply have to ask yourself the question, should the words under God be removed? If the answer to that question is yes, then you don't agree with this claim. This claim is saying that the words under God force religion upon a captive audience. But if you're okay with those words, you don't buy this. This is your column. So once again, if you think the word should be left alone, pay attention to this column. If you think the word should be removed, then you agree with this claim that the words under God do force a religion upon a captive audience. You buy it. This is your 5th paragraph. Pay attention to this column. Oakley dokley. So here we go. We are once again going to write a topic sentence, context, evidence, analysis paragraph. It's common language with the English department, and away we go. So you are going to be writing your topic sentence this way. The second reason. Now, if you buy it, that's what you're going to write. The second reason the words should be removed is that they force religion upon a captive audience. It annoys you. Don't you get how I roll yet, Will? If you believe the word should be left alone, then you're phrasing it slightly differently. You're phrasing it, the second reason some people claim the words should be removed is their belief that the words force religion upon a captive audience. You see the difference? One is, it is so. The other one is, this is what they believe. Chortle, chortle. Oh. Which one are you? Both opinions are welcome in this room. This is America. We need to learn to agree to disagree and be friends.
2016 is not the time for that.
How are we doing? Are you successfully completing first sentence of paragraph either 3 or 5, depending on your point of view? The next part is context. And generally, the way you're looking at it is, what is going on right now that makes this an important issue to discuss? This is where you might have a sentence or two that in schools throughout America, kids every day stand up and say those words. And so that's why it's relevant. Are they being force-fed a religion or not? Right? Okay, so you can ask the questions. It is also allowable that you can define in context any words that might need clarification. What does captive audience mean? This is where you define it. Does anyone know what that means? What's a captive audience? Go ahead. Right. Like you, right now. Can you physically get up and leave? Yes, but there would be consequences. That makes you a captive audience. You are a captive. And this morning, you all were in this building, I think, and Hunter Young and his annoying voice. Hey. Kidding. It was a joke. I knew you were over there. I love you. He got on and led us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And let's just ask this question. How many of you chose to exercise your right to not stand? Did anyone? Or maybe somebody's out there, but you don't want to draw attention to yourself. Okay. How many of you stood up and put your hands on your heart, but you didn't say? You didn't recite. Oh, okay. We don't need to raise our hands. All right, that's fine.
I signed it.
My curiosity would go something like this. When you exercise that little act of rebellion, we'll call it, did you feel any sense of glaring eyes at you? Did you feel a sense of, I'm being bad? Okay. So take a minute right now, write a sentence or two with what is called context. It is defining what's going on right now that makes this an interesting topic to discuss. Also, maybe a sentence that clarifies what does captive audience mean. Mr. Schultz, reading this argument, is reading about something called captive audience, and he does not know what captive audience means. Help Mr. Schultz. Help Mr. Schultz. Now, he probably does know what captive audience means. I know. X. Exactly. We are going to use document number 10. Document number 10. When you're ready, go ahead. Speaker, credibility, quote, and footnote. Document 10, as I can see right here, it's the Humanist Society. It's a nonprofit organization, and they are making the argument. Look at that. The second sentence of the first and second sentence of the second paragraph. Look at that delicious sentence. Whether you agree with it or not, it's an awesome sentence. The use of the current version of the pledge in public schools violates the court's coercion analysis. Reciting under God is a religious act. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Your mom.
Oh,
Wow.
Exactly.
I
Ends the
thought he was
argument.
going to continue the
It
sentence.
ends the argument.
And then, no.
Remember now, this is what the Humanist Society is arguing. They say it is a religious act. And you might buy it, and you might not buy it. Okay? But the red part is where you're pointing out what they say. And you're either going to defend it with a piece of historical evidence, or you're going to refute it with a piece of historical evidence. When next I speak, we will be attacking part blue. Okay? You are ready for part blue when you've written the number 10 inside of a parentheses with a dot after it. Then you're ready to rock. And I hope you're not writing the entire quote word for word. What a colossal waste of time. First word, dot, 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 last word. You type it later. That's clever. Give yourself room so that you can put the third paragraph in the right spot. Okay. All right. Do you have a footnote? Oh, yeah, footnote. The number 10 inside parentheses. Why'd you put it in the upper half of that space? Look. Okay, so allow me to draw your attention back. If you're buying this, if you think the word should be removed, then you need to explain what is it that the humanist society is trying to say here. And it might be incredibly perfectly obvious. I don't care. It isn't. The entire quote might be, he's dumb. But I don't understand what it means. And I don't know if you know what it means. Unless you explain what you think it means, I'm going to pretend that if the quote says he's sure dumb, that you think it means he's really smart. But you better explain what you think it means, even if it's perfectly clear. It's never perfectly clear. Put it in your own words. What the Humanist Society believes is that. And then we're going to have an example. It's the Engel v. Vitale. I will explain. Now, if you disagree, this is paragraph number 3 for you, you believe the words are just fine, then what you're also saying is what they are saying. You have to explain what you think they're arguing. But they're wrong. They're wrong. The Humanist Society is wrong, is what you say if you're over here. Not if you're over here. You buy it. You don't buy it. And your example will be some other religious-related artifacts that seem to be in the public sphere. Okay? So now I'm going back to you people. You agree. The word should be removed. Has anyone ever heard of Engel v. Vitale? No one's ever heard of it? Excellent. I am going to ask all of us right now to stand up. I am going to draw a crucifix, and I'm going to put it right here. And we're all going to say the Our Father. Now, everyone stand up, please. We're going to say the Our Father. Let's go. Come on now. We're going to say the Our Father. And I'm going to lead you in it. Stand up now. All right, sit down. We're not actually going to do it. But I will tell you this. Before 1962, that is exactly what happened. I need to have you back here in reality, Bill, now. Come on back. In 1962, the Supreme Court heard a case of exactly that. A public school teacher requiring his students to stand and say a Catholic prayer. In certain public schools, especially in southern states today, the coach of the public school, high school basketball team will have everyone grab hands and they'll pray. And some of those kids are uncomfortable, but they do it anyway because if they think if I don't do this, I'm not playing. It happens every once in a while currently. You can't do that. The Supreme Court in 1962 said no more teacher-led school prayer. What they did not say, which I think some of you think you heard, is me tell you you can't pray anymore in school. Yes, you can. Go ahead. I can't lead you in school prayer. There's the wall. You can still have what they had last year. I don't think they're doing it this year. At least I haven't heard of it. But remember Miss Cadlick doing the lighthouse thing? That's before school. No problem. What they used to do is this group of students used to go around the flagpole every morning, grab hands, and pray. No problem. That's not teacher-led. Right now, I can talk to you about what they used to do, but I'm not preaching to you that it's right or wrong. I'm simply informing you of what's going on. Go ahead.
So, like, could I legally stand up in front of this class and, like, lead a prayer, and it would be legal? Yeah. Like,
it's a little gray because I would assume that what you would be doing is asking for, like, volunteers. And because you're a peer rather than a person of authority, like me, then there isn't the sort of captive audience element to it. I'm in a position of power. You sort of answer to me. And so the thought goes like this. Some of you might be joining me because you're afraid if you don't, I'll notice and I'll be suddenly losing your assignment. Or something like that. Okay, so there's your difference. Yes, sir? Correct. Well, Will, though, this was specifically a school thing. Okay, so tell me that story. If this is your opinion, then explain to me that in 1962, the Supreme Court barred teacher-led prayer. But people, what do you think the pledge is? All of you stand, make certain motions with your hand, facing a symbol of importance and reciting the same words. That's a prayer. According to this line of thinking. Okay. Was your hand in the air? Go ahead.
Can you explain
This one?
No,
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to address that. Okay, those of you who are going to go with this one. Any questions? You get it? Tell me the story, and then conclude that if teachers are barred from leading school prayer, the pledge is a prayer. So they shouldn't be able to say it. Okay, now I'll explain this. Every year in this building, at least as long as I've been here, they've always had a Christmas tree. A Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
Okay? Stillwater Public Library. The Stillwater Public Library has a biblical Christmas display. And there's Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus and the lambs and the three wise men and the shepherds and the star and all that. If they can allow that stuff, why can't they allow the word under God in the Pledge of Allegiance? What's the difference? It's religious-related artifacts on public grounds. A Christmas tree is for Christmas. It's a Christmas tree. That's a religious holiday. We're not talking about the Santa version of Christmas. We're talking about Jesus' version of Christmas. Christmas tree. If you allow that, then you have to allow this. Or I have up here another example is the oath of office. When Donald Trump took the oath of office, his left hand was on a Bible. When you testify in court, your hand swears to God that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. That's a public ceremony. If it's okay there, why can't it be okay in the pledge? Damn. Okay. We're not debating it now, Will. We've had that debate already. Okay. So you're telling me the story, and just as importantly, though, you're making the connection. If it's okay here, then it's okay there. If it's not okay here, then it's not okay there. Right? You get it? Okay. When next I speak in 2 minutes here, 3 minutes, we will wrap it up with your concluding statement, your wrap-up sentence. I don't know if this feels looking up. Hold on, you're the leader.
Why?
Because take the mantle, take it, control it. Control this table. If they're being bad, I blame you.
Shut up.
That's right.
All right.
Put your hands in shit. No, go like this. Shit it.
Yeah, I've got
Even when we're talking, he's the college in the middle of a lecture.
By the way, one thing that I've seen before, don't be guilty of this. I've seen papers like this before. An example of this is Engel v. Vitale, period. That doesn't tell me anything. I'm Mr. Schultz. I don't know who this Engel guy is or Vitale. Who are these people? Tell me the story. Don't just say an example is Christmas trees. An example of what is Christmas trees? Things you buy at Walmart? Explain it. Explain what you mean. Be clear. And then you wrap it up. I will talk a little bit more and then release the hounds. You wrap it up with a sentence. If you buy it, because A is true, B is true. Because the words force religion upon a captive audience, comma, the word should be removed, period. If you don't buy it, because some people mistakenly believe that the words force religion upon a captive audience, comma, they argue that the word should be removed, period. There. Yes, dear.
Are these slides on Google Classroom?
Yes. No, not in a classroom. On the website. Yes. And also, if you ever miss class, it's all on tape. Live. So you can watch this again. And again and again and again. Like I do. I no talking no more. You are done at 1:30. If you want, I believe there should be porta potties in here somewhere. Like over there. Or whatever. I'm going to turn this off now. If you're not done with it, get your phone out and take a picture. Because if you have not presented your little slideshow, golden opportunity to do it without 40 people watching, you present it just to me right here. Okay? That sounds attractive to you. Come on over. Otherwise, off you go to spend your dough without your common sense. You're a donut. Off you go to spend your dough without your common sense. You're a donut.